What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Melanie Bailey of Indwell. Melanie, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited. We get to talk Indwell today, and I'm curious, what is Indwell and how did it all get started?
So I am an artisan who uses wood as a medium. What's different about Indwell is that right now I'm focused more on smaller goods, charcuterie boards, bowls. Most of the wood is sourced from our yard. So we are on 3 wooded acres and we often have a tree that falls down. I have a chainsaw, a mini mill, and I will mill the wood, cut it into stumps, and create bowls, charcuterie boards, what have you. Even if it's not sourced from our yard, it's usually sourced nearby. I have a lot of walnut that I use for charcuterie boards that was sourced from a neighbor's yard. We do offer large custom projects as well. Those are typically sourced more from the lumber yard, with lumber prices rising drastically in the last year or so. Right. That's why I've sort of shifted my focus more to bowls and charcuterie boards and local wood.
Melanie, how did all that get started for you? Was it just, hey, a tree fell in the yard and you said, what am I supposed to do with this? I got a chainsaw and I know how to use it.
Yeah, I went to school for architecture, so there's a little bit of a technical background and understanding how to build things, how to make things come together. We lived in Ardmore for about 10 years. We were in a pretty small house. I had a pretty small shed. I decided to take a go. I wanted a new dining room table. I decided to take a go at just making it myself. So our shed didn't have electric at the time. I would run all these power cords from our kitchen out to the shed. At the time, I didn't really even have tools or equipment. I think I built the entire thing from a circular saw and a belt sander. And then I just started, I was really proud with the outcome and really happy with it. So I continued to make pieces around our home. And then it grew to that friends and family were then asking me to make them stuff. And I started an Etsy page. We moved to Chadds Ford about 5 years ago. And at that point, I think I was inspired by all of the trees around us. And also in that regard, we had some down trees on our property. So I purchased a couple chainsaws. I purchased a mini mill, which attaches to the chainsaw and just lets you cut the down trees into slabs. And then I would cut some into slabs. I would cut others into stumps, and it just sort of grew from there. So now we have a pretty big garage and it does have electric. And I've taken it over completely as my workshop. So that's where I'm at.
Now talk about, you said, hey, you were doing these pieces for yourselves at home, for your family, and then it kind of morphed into family and friends. Yeah. What were some of those aha moments for you where you said, you know what? This isn't just a little hobby. This could become a business. So talk about, some of that feedback that you got, or just, wow, you said, oh, I could do this as a business.
I think when I built the first dining room table, I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to turn out. Everything was a learning process, from cutting to buying the lumber to learning different types of wood and wood species and how workable those may be. And also even just the finishes. For that particular finish, I made a stain from vinegar, which oxidizes the wood and gives it an aged look. I ended up putting that on it and it looked great. And then I put a clear coat on it. It made it look a little too dark. So it was all part of the learning process. And that's why I guess I am where I am now. It's most of the time when I set out to make something or do something, it turns out how I'd like it to, because I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about it now. But in terms of that, once I made the dining room table, I was really happy with it, and friends were coming over and they were seeing it. So it just sort of became that friends would be like, well, can you make me something, or can you make me one similar? And then I started the Etsy page, and I would get requests for like a custom order from somebody from California, and I would make a bench or something for them. And then obviously when we got here in Chadds Ford, everything just kind of grew because now we have all of these down trees. So it was like, I can get my lumber here and, so yeah.
So talk about, again, you mentioned, hey, it was a process. I learned. Talk about some of those finishes that people can expect, or some of those personalizations that you can do for each piece for them.
Yeah, for sure. So working with customers for larger custom projects, which, like I said, those are typically sourced from the lumberyard, just because I don't always in our yard have enough available lumber to make an entire dining room table, right? So it's a little bit easier to source those from the lumberyard. But I'll work with customers. I'll go to their home. I'll take measurements. I'll work up a 3D rendering of their table so they can see what it's going to look like before it's built. And then just kind of going through with them at every stage, sending them photos, texting them, hey, do you like this? Do you like this finish or this finish? So it's a lot different from what you're getting if you go to, say, like some big box store or just some general furniture store or something like that, for sure.
You mentioned your Etsy page a couple of times. How do people find your Etsy page?
Okay, so the Etsy page is Indwell Designs. There's no dot or dash or anything in it. It's just straight through Indwell Designs.
Now, do you have a website or other social media besides the Etsy that people can find you on?
Absolutely. So the website is Indwell-Designs. And that once you get to the website, actually, there's links to social media and Etsy and everything else.
So it's indwell-designs.com. Yes?
Yes.
That's how people are going to find Melanie Bailey and Indwell and all the products, or how to contact you for custom design work. Yes?
Sure. And then my Instagram, which is probably most current, because I get most of my business through Instagram, actually. And I connect with people mostly through it. It's the only social media platform that I have. It's indwell.designs.
All right. I think if anybody's looking for some custom woodwork, or like you said, hey, I like a new charcuterie board for when we have people over for the Halloween activities, for Thanksgiving. This is perfect. You're going right into gift and social season. People need to upgrade their way of delivering the foods, the items, not to mention, if you're looking for a new whole dinette set, kitchen set, bench, who knows? Call Melanie, reach out, and she can put that together. I'm curious for you, Melanie, what inspires, or what are some of your motivators in terms of who do you see out there? Do you have anybody that you look to and say, wow, I love their stuff. I pay some respect by taking some of their techniques. Are there people out there that you have as mentors, as video, or out there in the Ethernet?
Absolutely. I joke with my father that I could not do what I do. I could not have done what I do 20 years ago, right? Because there's so many times that I'm building something or making something, and I don't know that I want to name anybody in specific because there's so many people that I just get inspiration and tips from. And I spend so much time, just even at night or when I wake up in the morning and just YouTubing videos of these great woodworkers doing really cool things, or maybe I don't know how to do something. And so I'm Googling it or YouTubing it. And also Instagram as well. There's so many great local people connected to so many people who power carve, which isn't a widely done, technique or craftsmanship. A lot of times when you're buying a wood bowl, it is turned on a lathe, which that skill and craftsmanship is incredible. And I follow a lot of people who do that, and I'm very inspired. Most of my bowls and other works are power carved, which is an attachment for your grinder. And it lets you create a bowl that isn't perfect, that isn't symmetrical. It's got these natural flaws. And so in that regard, I guess I'm a little bit different from what other people do, but I am tied in on social media through a lot of people who power carve, and just a lot of people who do things even differently than me, but I will watch them and pick up tips. And it's a great community, I would say, through Instagram for that, and also YouTube as well. So yes.
Is there anything you haven't made yet that you're looking to add to your repertoire, things that are on the list of saying, I can't wait to try that?
I'm sure there has been a moment where I've thought that, but I can't think of it right now.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to reach out to you and they're going to order something. You're like, I've always wanted to do that. This is so cool. I love the challenge. I love the creative side for me. I get to do that. Talk about what motivates you. Melanie, what gets you out of bed every day?
I love what I do. I used to just let my business side bleed into every day of my life. It would be Saturday, Sunday, I'm working on a project for someone. It would be nighttime through the week and I'm working on a project for someone. I've tried to focus a little bit more on keeping the business Monday through Friday daytime. But even on the evenings and on the weekends, I'm always wrapped up in some sort of home improvement renovation project. I spent the entire last weekend building a retaining wall with my husband. My husband's great. He's very supportive. We were building a retaining wall for our house. And that was like an all weekend project. So it's like, if I'm not working on the business, I'm always creating something with my hands for sure.
What is it about Delco for you? What says Delco in your opinion?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in Delco. I grew up in Delaware. I do realize that people from Delco, they sort of separate Delaware County from Delco, but I love both sides of it. With Delco, it's anytime I can't find my husband, he's at Wawa. It's like a given that if I can't find Dave, I'm calling him and he's like, I'm at Wawa. Right. I love the camaraderie and the pride of Delco. Absolutely. As far as more like the Delaware County side, I love the rural side of things. At any given point in the summer, you will most likely find me at the Brandywine Creek, either kayaking, tubing, or we'll just be taking our dogs down there to hang out. So
you're on your way to the Brandywine Creek and you're thinking, I'm hungry. I'd like to get a cheesesteak. Where are you going?
Oh my God. You might have to edit this out just because I'm vegan.
They make vegan cheesesteaks, you know.
They do make vegan cheesesteaks. So Love Again Local is a spot. Actually, I don't think that's Delco, though. They make vegan sandwiches and vegan cheesesteaks. Capriati's in Delco. They do vegan cheesesteak. They do vegan steak sandwiches and vegan hoagies.
There you go. So there, be vegan, live vegan. Delco's got vegan, right? Now, all right. You mentioned the vegan cheesesteak or steak with cheese.
Yeah.
What about a pizza? Where are you going in Delco for that vegan pizza, or is your husband vegan too?
No, not at all. Not at all. No.
So, and his name's Dave.
Yes.
Right. So you're out and about and you're saying, I want a pizza. Where are you guys going?
We order a lot from Cuisinos. They have a few different locations. I think they're actually Delaware though. I think they're like Naaman's Road. So like we'll order a pizza and I'll just throw some vegan cheese on it when it gets here. So.
Awesome. Now,
and my husband loves, last night he ordered from Arugula. It's a really great Italian spot in Glen Mills. That should be Delco.
You were exactly correct.
Yeah.
You've already mentioned your husband's affinity and appreciation for Wawa, but you know what? You're on that convenience store run. Where are you going? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Wawa.
I mean, I assume the answer, I just didn't want to, say, all right, this is exactly what I expect. Because you could have said, something different. I don't know.
Yeah, the Wawa we typically go to is the one at, what is that? Naaman's Road and 202. My husband's there a lot more than I am, but that's usually also my go-to just for gas, soda, coffee sometimes. It depends. I get coffee kind of all over, but Spread just opened in Glen Mills in the Glen Eagle Square. And so like yesterday I got a latte there. So yeah.
Yeah, lots of shout outs. I love it. Talk to me or talk to the listener. If you had friends or family coming in to Delco and you wanted to recommend or give them that Delco experience, where would you take them or where would you send them?
The creek.
You send them to the creek.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime we have visitors, we're usually headed straight for the creek to kayak or tube or anything like that. I don't know if you're looking for a business specifically, but we're usually...
You've mentioned a lot of them. No, I would say, look, if somebody said, hey, we're coming in, we're staying over, and you're saying, I want to give you that Delco experience that is important or valuable for us, you're taking them to the creek.
Yes. That's my favorite spot. Yes.
Tremendous. Melanie, is there anything we haven't touched upon today on the podcast? Anything you want to share with our listeners in the What's Happening Delco area about Indwell?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it was pretty thorough.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us at What's Happening Delco. We're looking forward to seeing all the great ideas and all the great things that you're making at Indwell. And hey, if you need that charcuterie board, the bowls, grandfather clock, will you make that?
I don't know if I know how to make a grandfather clock. That might be just too intricate for me, but yeah.
Cool. Melanie, thank you so much. Thanks for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. And we look forward to keeping in touch and just all the great things that are happening for you at Indwell.
Thank you so much. This was lovely.
Thanks. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.